We're going to do some math examples. If you don't teach math, hang in there and try your best on these. At the end, we'll talk about other applications. But we want to start with, how could you teach some more conceptual math? So I start a lesson with kids. I like to start the way I would in the classroom, which is kind of some thinking. So this is a which one doesn't belong slide, and I'll show you how to get these templates later. But you can pick whichever one you want. So study the 4 pictures and drag your red dot onto the one you think doesn't belong. There is not a right and wrong answer. I just want to see your reasoning and thinking. So you're doing some comparing and contrasting right now, which is a super important skill. And then in a minute, I'm going to call on some of you, ask you to unmute your mic and tell us where you put your dot and why. All right. Cindy, will you unmute your mic and tell us where you put your dot and why, please?
I put the dot in the bottom left graph because that's the only graph where the line goes through the origin, which is 0, 0.
Okay, awesome. So again, I use this as some formative assessment. What do the kids know as we're starting? So Cindy used the word origin, so we could talk about the word origin. Melody, will you unmute your mic, please? Tell me where you put your dot and why.
I put my dot on the upper left because that's the only line that's decreasing, or yeah, the negative slope.
Awesome. Again, so yeah, what vocab you have and you can build on it is decreasing. Oh, that one has a negative slope or a negative rate of change. Awesome. So this is a fun way to start a lesson. And this is a template slide. You can do it with any picture you want in any content area. This one, now we're at grade 3 fractions. This is a cool thing you can do with Pear Deck as fractions. So take a minute with your drawing tools and shade one to show me the 2/3 and shade the other one on the right to show me the 3/4. All right, Austin, perfect. I see you're thinking really well. Nice, I see Kathy's thinking well. Adriana, that looks good. Anna, that looks good. Hilda, it looks good. I like that you shaded the bottom. Everyone else wants to start with the top. Oh, Nassim, you also started with the bottom. You're thinking like Hilda. Karen, nice use of some colors right there. And again, it lets me know. I can see if anyone's making mistakes. I can see who hasn't started. I can see if anyone's stuck. So I'm going to share one really quick at what we're looking at here and talk about them. Oh, look, somebody decided to go and do equivalent fractions. I like it. This one right here. Lisa, can you unmute your mic and tell us what you think about the 2/3 and the 3/4 on here?
I don't think they're looking at the whole picture on the first one.
Okay, why not?
Well, it's not representing 2/3 of the whole. It's the white boxes on the left are 2/3 of half of the portion.
Okay. Awesome, thanks, right? So then we can ask, what do you see? What's shaded? Well, 2 out of how many are shaded? And then we can compare it to a different one here. How do you see 2/3 here? How do you see 3/4? And again, someone told us their 2/3 here also look like another name. So they gave another name for that fraction as we go through. So we can stop and ask, how do you see it in this one? Do you see the same in this one? And what you will see as you're sharing these is that students will start erasing if they made an error once you start discussing them, and they'll be able to fix them, but you got to see exactly what they were thinking as they went and the different parts and different ways people shaded. Number line. If you guys are doing anything with number lines, rational, irrational numbers, where would you place these in the number line? This is a great way for me to see student thinking. So I'll actually give you 30 seconds on this one. You have to decide where 0 goes. So you get to decide. I didn't put any numbers on there, but where would you put these? I'll give you 30 seconds to play with this one, and we'll just share what some different thinking is so we can just talk about what the conversation could look like if we were doing this live. This is now sharing anonymously, which is how I want to share most of the time, but I can pick one and pull it up and then ask you guys to comment on, do you agree or disagree with where this person put the square root of 2? First, Martha, will you unmute? Do you agree or disagree with where this person put square root of 2? And why?
I would agree. It's a little more than 1, but less than 2. So it's about, I think, 1.4.
Okay. Awesome. Right. So again, I can put up work, have you comment, and I can show you also different ways people decided to do it. This one color coded, and we can see it here. Again, it's anonymous. So you can have good conversations about student work and where people put things. This person approximated, so I can see student thinking, which is what I desperately missed by not being able to walk around. But I can also get you to comment. Instead of grabbing something and throwing it up on the dot cam, I can now put it up here. But if I wanted you to define an asymptote, I could grab a Freyer model. Literally, I just took this as a screenshot from the computer, typed a word into it, but we could do vocabulary using Pear Deck. We could do lots of Freyer models or whatever you do for vocab. What about reading text? So again, I went back to a math example, but this could be a text in history, in English, in science, any text they have to read. You can use the drawing slide to get them to code on it. So this one says, if you look at this, could you figure out where the rate of change would be and circle that? And then the initial value, could you highlight that? And I took out the numbers because I didn't want anyone doing any math. I wanted to think about it, and I wanted to use a closed reading strategy to do this. But if those of you that use closed reading or 3 reads in your class, you could still do that. And I get to see right away who circled what. But this could be a section of something they read in science, in history, in language arts, and math, anything you want them. They can comment on the side, they can highlight, they can circle, but this is a way to help them understand where they go. Yeah, Jennifer, organizing a paragraph. You want them to write something, let them do their planning on a Pear Deck slide. Whatever the topic is, they read an article, they're gonna write something, have them first write their thesis, their support, their conclusion, and give them feedback on this before they go and write their paragraph. Science. They have, and I'll show you this at the end, science, you have like 50 pre-made templates for you on Pear Deck. So I just grabbed this one. It's for your CERs. So whatever the topic was, I didn't put a topic in here. Whatever you just did or they've done, you just literally, this takes less than 5 seconds because all you have to do is click a button and the slide automatically goes. It's a template made already for science. So you can work on CERs and see their thinking. They can type or write into it right away. The second they're typing, you can see exactly what they're thinking and know who needs some help as we go. Another one I thought was cool for science, but it could also be for history, is labeling. So this was a template. You can put in any picture you want and a word bank, and they can now take and label and show you on this slide what goes to what part as they go. And again, it's a drawing slide, so they can draw arrows, they can write, they can number things, but it's a great way to do this type of learning. And you can, again, grab a picture from the book, grab a picture from the internet, and be able to do some formative assessment with your students to be a little less worried about if they actually understand what they're doing. All right, we're gonna slow down for a minute and go to breakout rooms. So what I'm gonna do in just a second is I'm gonna put you guys into rooms of about 3 or 4 people. When I put you to a breakout room, it'll invite you, it'll tell you your breakout room number. So it'll tell you you're invited to room 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 7. If you have the shortest first name in your group, so you have to make sure you share each other's name, you're gonna be in charge of recording. But I'm gonna show you really quick just what you're filling out so that you will know before you go to the room. So if you get assigned group 1, somebody's gonna be typing into this table, and you're just gonna type as you have a conversation with the 3 or 4 of you. What are the advantages you think? What are the concerns you might have? And what are the questions you have? And the reason I'm also having you do this is because this is a great way to have accountability if you're doing something online, is using Google Docs. So I can see as a teacher exactly what you're typing. I can give you comments and see if you're stuck at all. You'll be there for a good 5 minutes, maybe 10. I'm gonna just literally, as a teacher, I'm gonna see how much everybody's typing. And when it seems like you're kind of done with your conversation, I will give you a warning that gives you some time to come back.
Just because we aren't face-to-face with our students, we can't forget the importance of ensuring our math instruction is conceptual, inquiry-based, and includes collaboration. This means creating opportunities virtually for accessing prior knowledge, making student thinking visible, developing academic language, and providing authentic ways to collaborate. Pear Deck is just one of many platforms that supports interactive teaching virtually. Let's commit to instruction we know all of our students need to succeed.